Okay, this is Hanson's Hammocks, and this is a full problem, so it has all of the variances in it. Well, actually, you know, it doesn't. It only has calculate fixed overhead price variance. So they've got the information divided up between your standards here, and I think we did this one in class too. Yeah, but these are your standards, and then these are the actuals, okay? So you want to go through each one and see what information that they gave you. So in the first one, we've got direct materials, 50 feet at 50 feet of material per hammock at $2.50 per foot. So these are your per unit costs, and generally we won't use these, okay? Direct labor is 5 hours at $10 per hour. This is a standard. And variable overhead is 5 hours at $5 per hour, and fixed overhead is 120. Oh, wait a minute. This is per direct labor hour. Okay, you've got to watch on how the variable overhead is allocated. And fixed overhead, they planned on 120,000 in overhead, and they planned on 3,000 units. Okay, so that would have been $40 like per hammock. So now they plan to produce 3,000 units. So this is what our, you know, what our overhead rate would have been based on. Now they produced 2,500 units. Okay, so fewer units, and they would have been allocated less overhead per unit. So they purchased and used 130 feet of material at a total cost of $312. So right there, I would take the $312 and divide it by 130,000 feet and get $2.40 per foot. Okay? Then the total direct labor cost was $123,750 for 11,250 hours. Again, I take that $123,750 and divide it by the 11,250 hours and get $11 per hour. Okay, per direct, that's how much our labor costs. Variable overhead was $54,000, and our direct labor hours were 11,250. So that's $4.80 per direct labor hour. Okay? And fixed overhead, that was 115,000, and that is the actual. That's the total actual. So the first thing we're going to do is look at our direct material or raw material variances. I think it's direct materials. Yeah, it should be direct materials, not raw material. So direct material variance, and that is our formula is the actual quantity times the difference in price. And remember that these are prices per unit, and the amount used is the same as the amount purchased. So we don't have to worry about that, okay? So 130,000 is my actual quantity, 130,000 feet. Okay, our actual price was $240 per square foot. That's what we calculated, and the plan was $250. So it's going to be a favorable variance. And remember, you have to show these in order to get the answer right. If you don't include whether it's favorable or unfavorable, then it's just wrong. All right, so you got to pick a team. So that gives us 13,000 in favorable variance. And for efficiency or usage, that would be the standard price times the actual quantity minus the standard quantity for actual units produced. Remember that one part, okay? For actual units produced. So our standard price is $250 per yard, $250 per foot. Yeah, $250 per foot. Our actual quantity is 130,000 feet. The standard would have been 2,500 tents, or hammocks, sorry, at 50 feet per tent. Right? 50 feet of material per tent. So 130,000 tents minus 125. And I'd encourage you to take this step because that lets you figure out whether or not it's favorable or unfavorable. Okay? There's our actual. That would be our standard, so it's an unfavorable variance. You can put the U there right away. If you don't do this, it's not that easy to see. It's just helpful. It's just one more way to avoid a stupid mistake, you know. So it's 250, so that's 12,500 unfavorable. Okay. Then the next one is direct labor. Direct labor is, and if you wanted, you know, you can repeat that formula, but it would be actual hours instead of actual quantity, actual hours times the difference in rates. And remember, these are per direct labor hour. Okay, and for the efficiency variance, it'd be the standard rate times the difference in hours, and that's for actual standard hours for actual units produced again. So our actual hours are 11,250. Our actual rate is $11 per hour, and we planned on $10 per hour. Okay? So 11 minus 10. So that's our actual. There's our standard. This variance is unfavorable, and it's 11,250 because that's $1. All right? Now for the other side of it, our actual rate, or standard rate, is $10. And then actual hours minus standard hours for actual units produced. So 10 times 11,250 minus, okay, we've got 2,500 was the standard, the number of units we actually produced, and the standard amount per unit was 5 hours. Okay, these are hours. Everybody there? These would be 5 hours per unit. Okay, so 10 times 11,250 minus 12,500. We can see right now that it's going to be a favorable variance because our actual is less than what the standard would be, and that's 12,500 favorable for efficiency, direct labor efficiency. Okay, variable overhead is allocated on the basis of direct labor hours. Okay, so variable overhead is 11,250. My actual rate, we figured that out. Our actual rate was $4.80 per direct labor hour, and the standard was $5. So we're going to be favorable here also. So 11,250 actual hours times 480 minus 5, 22,250, and that's a favorable variance. Okay, and then over here for efficiency, my standard rate is $5 for variable overhead. Hope this is close enough, huh? 11,250 are the actual hours, and our standard would have been 2,500 units. Okay, the standard for actual units produced. So 2,500 hammocks times 5 hours per hammock. So 11,250 minus 12,500. This again would also be a favorable variance, and it would be 6,250. Okay? And then over here, finally, for fixed overhead, they only asked for fixed overhead price variance. So that is 120,000 was what? That was our price variance, 120,000. This would be, what is this? This is our actual here, right? What's our actual? Oh, yeah. Our plan was $120,000. Fixed overhead was $115,000. So this is budget minus actual. Yeah. Budget minus actual is price variance, so that would be 5,000 unfavorable. Okay. All right. Good luck with this.